I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to do to leave your 9 to 5 corporate job by the end of 2026 and how to live off of God's abundance. So, the way that I'm going to teach this is probably not what you're expecting or maybe what you've heard before, where most people who are talking about leaving their 9 to 5 job, leaving the corporate world to possibly live off of a business, if they're trying to shift from living the 9 to 5 life to doing their own business, that is a potential possibility. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm not here to teach you how to grow and scale your business so you can leave your 9 to 5. I'm going to teach you how to energetically shift yourself, your identity as someone who lives off of God's abundance, however form that comes into your life, maybe through a business, maybe through your provider husband that you're married to. I'm not the person that decides that. God decides that. What I'm going to teach you is how you energetically shift into this identity as someone who no longer abides by the rules of needing to work a 9 to 5 in order to survive. So, something that I had said last year to my business coach. And yes, I have a business, and that was one of the things for me that I wanted to use. I wanted to leave my 9 to 5 so I could pursue my business, but also so I didn't have to continue working a 9 to 5, continue spending my time, my valuable time and energy into something that was not aligned for me. And I know for a lot of people, we struggle with this idea of, well, I don't want to work in a setting that I'm not passionate about, that doesn't light me up, that doesn't feel aligned. And for a lot of us, we create this story in our head where it's like, oh, but I'm just being lazy, like everyone else has to work for a living, and who am I to say that I don't want to do that anymore, and I just want to live off of God's abundance, or I just want to attract money easily. I can understand how crazy this sounds, but truly, this is the direction that we are heading in as a society, as these systems, as these structures in our society begin to become more rattled, as more and more people start their own businesses. Things are really going to start to shift, I believe, in the next 5 to 10, even 20 years. The way that we live, the way that we show up is truly going to start to shift. I just feel that the collective is slowly waking up to these systems that are in place, that have been put in place to keep us in a low consciousness, to keep us in a low frequency. And we are slowly waking up to that. And more people are starting businesses, more and more people are seeing things through a different light. So, truly, this whole idea of needing to work a 9 to 5 in order to survive, it's not going to be the typical reality for a lot of people moving forward if you know how to make this shift. And back in, it was December of 2024, I told my business coach, I told the women that I was a part of this mastermind group with, I told them that I was going to leave my corporate job by the end of 2025. I would no longer be working my job that I was working at by the end of that following year. And I had no idea how I was going to get there. When I said it out loud, the belief in that was super shaky. But I am someone who has always said my goals, my big scary goals, out loud to other people, because I know the power of that. I know what it does to me. It shifts something within me. I know that it gives my goals more of my belief, and it also communicates to the universe that no, I'm serious about this. This isn't just an idea, a dream that I'm holding on to that I don't actually believe in. I'm actually going to tell people this belief and say it out loud. Therefore, I want the universe to start supporting this idea. So I had said that out loud in December of 2025. 2024, again, not knowing how by the end of December of 2025 I was going to leave my corporate job, and I didn't know that I fully believed it at the time either. But there is 6 things that I want to teach you that I did very, very intentionally all throughout 2025. And I truly believe this is why I was able to leave my corporate job in October of 2025. I actually had gone part time in August of 2024. And then it was like 3 months later that I officially left my job and went on to pursue my business, my passions full time. So I'm going to go through all of this because if you're new to energy work, if you're new to subconscious reprogramming and recalibrating your nervous system, then you need to watch all of my videos on this channel because I bring in, I talk about like the laws of the universe, quantum physics, where we're looking at the science of how physical reality is created, how we are the co-creators of our life. And I bring in not only the quantum physics of that, but how you actually shift your own energy to recreate your reality. And we look at the mechanics of that. So we're looking at your subconscious beliefs and how to actually reprogram those beliefs at quantum speed, how to recalibrate your nervous system, because those are both components of our machine, our physical body, which I refer to as our machine, that work together and create our energetic field. So, our subconscious beliefs and our nervous system are a machine that work together. They respond to each other, and that's what creates our frequency, our energetic field. And if you know anything about quantum physics, you know that our energetic field is what is creating and forming our reality around us. So, we have to take a look at those mechanisms in order to shift our physical reality. And so this is what I teach. And so if you're new to this, then definitely watch some of my videos. You may want to check out my 6-week program where I basically introduce the foundations of all of this, of understanding how to reprogram yourself, how to work with your nervous system in real time. This is why my clients get massive results so quickly, is because they're working with those mechanisms in their day-to-day reality, making those energetic shifts, and by doing that, it automatically shifts the physical reality around them. It's work that is more than just affirmations that you're saying. A lot of times people get it wrong where they think that in order to change their physical reality through quantum physics, they're having to say affirmations. They're having to say like, well, no, I don't believe this, but that's just a conscious thing that you're saying. It's not actually backed with embodiment. And my program teaches you how to actually recalibrate your entire system to embody that conscious thing that you're saying that you desire. So you may want to check out that program. It's linked below. But again, going back to what I'm about to teach you, it is based off of these principles. So if you have no idea what this is probably going to sound really, really crazy to you. So the first thing, we're in February right now, depending on when you're watching this, but when you are starting to make this shift of wanting to leave your 9 to 5 by the end of 2026, and maybe it's to pursue your passions full time, whatever it may be, you don't have to have all of the answers right now. That's the big thing, is you do not have to have all of the answers right now. They will reveal themselves to you. The main thing to know is, what is your desire? If your desire is to leave your 9 to 5 by the end of 2026 so that you can have the freedom to do XYZ, the freedom to explore what you want for the first time ever, maybe it's to spend more time with family, whatever it is, the first thing that you need to do is you need to stop opting into the belief that it's not even available to you to leave your 9 to 5. I was just talking about this in a masterclass that I do inside my, I have a 6-month group mentorship container where we explore different themes of how to shift our reality. Each month we explore different themes, and this month we were talking about money. And I was talking about this idea of how challenging it can be in the beginning to start to shift out of this 3D reality, because there's a strong structure and systems that have been set in place that we have had to abide by across our evolution. So it's very, very, very deeply ingrained in us to respond to the system that has been in place, right? One of those things being how money works, how we respond to money. And when you're trying to make this shift of believing that you can leave your 9 to 5 job, it can be challenging because the belief is like, your belief is so ingrained in what the system has told you to believe, the conditional belief that is almost like within your DNA. And so in the beginning, it's going to feel you're going to feel a lot of resistance because you haven't been taught any other way. The new way that you want to live, which is leaving your 9 to 5, living off of God's abundance, however that comes through, a lot of people aren't doing that, right? That's not the status quo. That's not the normal. But you have to be so dedicated to rewiring your nervous system and your subconscious beliefs to this make believe desire that you have on your heart, to the point where your system, your body believes it to be so true, more than the 3D physical reality that is right in front of you, that 95%, 99% probably of the population is existing in right now. That is how delusional you have to be and intentional you have to be in this process, because you are seeing all around you through other people, through social media, our entire 3D physical reality, the systems that have been put in place, that is the proof that you are using right now. And it is much, much more powerful than the belief of, I'm just going to leave my 9 to 5 and let God take care of me. That is very, very delusional compared to what is in your face all of the time. And you have to get so good at not responding to what you are seeing right in front of you. You have to get so good at not allowing the 3D physical reality in the present moment affect your system of how you are trying to rewire. Because understand this, your entire 3D physical reality is the past version of you. If you understand quantum physics, you understand that everything in our physical reality is created from within, and from within, it's casting out. So the physical reality is a past version of you within, your energetic being from within. So when you're responding to it, all you're doing is responding to the past version of yourself and creating more of that. And that's where you have to interrupt this. You have to get really good at interrupting this and retrain your system not to look at the past physical reality in front of you as your proof. So again, this starts with like stopping yourself from opting into the belief that this is not even available to you. Because right now, as you start to make this energetic shift and this change in your belief, it's going to be really, really challenging, not for your brain to not be like, this isn't even possible, like look at what's in front of you. But you have to basically not opt into that, even though it's right in front of you and it's like it's right here. You have to get good at just like not even, like, I know it's right there, but like I don't care, I'm not going to continue opting into this belief. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is you have to stop limiting God's abundance in the only way that you think is possible. So this goes back to what I was just saying, like what I was talking about in my mentorship group, where because this system and this structure of our reality is so ingrained in us, we have a hard time even seeing different forms of abundance formulating for us, because we've been taught that money is the only form of abundance. We have, as a society, given so much of our power to money because it's been like the um, collective way of exchanging services, exchanging goods. It represents so much to us. Money represents survival, it represents safety, status, food, shelter, all of these things. So we as a society, as a collective, have energetically put in so much of our power. Like we're outsourcing so much of our power just into money. But God and abundance, it's so infinite and can be delivered to us in so many ways beyond just money, or even beyond just us making money through our typical streams of income. So we have to let go of that conditional belief that money is the only way, and money through our 9 to 5 or through the only streams of revenue that we have is the only way that God can deliver abundance to us. This was something that really started to come through for me over the course of last year, where a lot of the things that my reality at the time was kind of like feeling like it was weighing me down from really leaving my 9 to 5. One of those being that my husband and I were living with my parents in their basement at the time. We had no home for ourselves here, and we really didn't have like a lot of money to put down on a home. We both had a lot of car debt. Um, and so it was really hard for me to see beyond that and see a way out of that because of my income that I was making, because of what my husband's income was, and because my business wasn't where I wanted it to be. And for a while, I had a hard time believing that those things could be taken care of in a way that I couldn't even imagine. And that's exactly what happened. My husband and I both were able to pay off both of our car debt in 2025, and we were able to purchase a home, and none of that came through our personal 9 to 5 incomes. It was more about we just started to learn how to receive in more ways and receive in unimaginable miracles that God was trying to deliver to us. Because for a lot of, like, for everyone, God, money, all of these forms of abundance are trying to make their way into our field, but our energetic field is oftentimes blocking that because we only believe that these miracles can be delivered in one possible way. And really, like, there's an infinite amount of possibilities and ways that abundance can be delivered. But if we're not an energetic match for that, if we're not open to receiving that, our beliefs don't support that, then we will always continue to block it, which is why it's so important for you to shift this belief. You have to stop limiting God's abundance in the only way that you think is possible, and you have to be open to receiving it through other forms. A lot of the times, God will deliver things through other people, or through unexpected ways. And again, like, we may receive that, or like it may come into our field, but because our beliefs are so conditional, we don't feel worthy. We have a belief that says, oh, I don't deserve this kind of help, I don't deserve this gift from this person. Then again, you're blocking it, and it's like God was trying to deliver that thing to you through maybe a person or an opportunity, and you, instead of accepting it, you made it mean something. You made a conditional belief out of it, and then you weren't able to receive it. So you have to be willing to let that go. And that can get really messy, and that's why a lot of people come into my body of work, is because they think that they're like, oh, I revealed the subconscious belief that was blocking the thing, but it's actually like a web of beliefs that have been like created from one belief. And I am really good as a mentor at seeing these conditional beliefs when we're talking through these things, when we're shifting our energy through different blocks in our life. I am able to see, oh, like, you just have a conditional belief, like, you, all you have to do is tweak this belief and that will shift everything. Or, oh, like, I understand you want to believe this thing, but like right now your nervous system is calibrated to something completely different. Like, we have to work with your nervous system right now in order to help support this new belief. And that's how we can really work through things really, really quickly through that process. Okay. So this is the next one that is in support with all of these things, is you need to learn how to turn up the volume of your intuition and then start taking action when your intuition and like your intuitive messages, your guides are leading you towards something. And I see this so much with even my past self, but like with clients sometimes is like this nudge, this idea, this excitement towards a new venture, towards something totally random will come to them. But because they have trained their body, they've trained their system not to trust that and to only trust logical brain, that the answers will literally be right in front of them, but because they haven't built up that muscle, that skill, they will look right over it and they won't even see it as the answer they've been asking for. So this is something, again, I teach in my 6-week program at the end, where it's learning how to rebuild this muscle and this skill of trusting your intuition, knowing when it is giving you messaging and when to take action. Because there's a process that happens with your intuition. You don't just receive intuitive messages from your higher self or from God, and then if like you don't take action on them, you're not going to continue to receive the messages that it's trying to deliver to you to help you get on the path you're trying to get on, right? And in this case, you're wanting to leave your 9 to 5 and live off of God's abundance. Well, your higher self is trying to deliver the messages to you of what to take action on next, and but you're not taking action on it. Therefore, it's not like they're giving you step one. Why would they give you step two, three, four, and five if you're not even willing to take action on step one? So you have to start taking action when you are being divinely led. And this is why a lot of people don't understand the concept of like, you can build a business and it doesn't have to feel hard. That's not saying that it's not going to be hard work. And I know that that's like a weird concept, but when you're building a business with God, when you're co creating with God, you work hard, but it's on the right things. You work hard on the things that He's asking you to work hard on. And therefore, you have like this unlimited source of energy in a way, because you're working hard on things that are in alignment with who you are, in alignment with your purpose and your mission, versus most people who have built a 6, 7 figure, 8 figure business, which now I don't give a fuck if you've built a 6, 7, 8 figure business. I want to know how you built it. What was your energy when you built it? Because if you built that business, you're a female entrepreneur and you built that business through like blood, sweat, and tears, and you grinded your way to building that business, I know that you don't have the life that I want. You can have all the money in the world, but if you built that business by yourself in your masculine energy, you did the strategy because that was what you were told you had to do, but at the same time, you ignored your intuition the entire time. I don't care what you have to say because I want to co create my life with God. And when I co create my life with God, He delivers the exact perfect strategies through business coaches that I need. But I use my divine intuition to know whether or not that strategy is perfect for me. And I am able to hear that messaging from Him. So it's like I'm taking the structure and the masculine of what it takes to create a business, but at the same time, I'm listening to where He's guiding me, how He's guiding me, because it's literally like instead of walking up 10 flights of stairs, each step by step by step by step, and becoming exhausted by the time I get up, it's like I take one step and then He's like, okay, now take the elevator to the third floor. And it's like, okay, let me do that. I take the elevator to the third floor, and then I get back on the steps and I take two more steps. And now He's like, okay, now do this. And so then I get on the elevator again, He takes me up. You see how this process is not so tolling on my system. It's not so tolling on my being because I'm working with God, not by myself. So this is what it means to turn up the volume of your intuition and take action, because you may not understand why you're being led to something, but your higher self can see the whole picture. And that's why people hold themselves back, because they think that they have to logically understand what's happening. They have to know all of the answers in order for them to like really trust in a plan. And that's not how it works with God. Like if you're going to co-create with God, there's a level of embodied trust that has to happen with that. So you may be led to, let's say, randomly volunteer for something at your job, and it's like you don't even really like that stuff, but for some reason you're like, oh, this is like really exciting, like let me do this, but there's really no reason for me to do this, like, right? You don't know what the ROI is on doing XYZ. That's just an example. Like sometimes it's so random as to where you are being nudged in a direction. Sometimes it could be you're feeling this urge to start drawing again. And you're like, but there's no, why would I start drawing? Like, I have no time to do that. I should be working on my business, or I should be working on this. But what you don't understand is the reason you're being nudged to draw is because when you're drawing, you're in a flow state, and that allows for you to connect with your higher self, with the divine, in a way that gets your logical brain out of the way. And that's how you're going to receive the next message. So we have to stop thinking that we need to know the whys behind everything, that everything has to make logical sense, because that isn't how our intuition works. This isn't how God and divine messaging works. And if you're truly wanting to live off God's abundance, it requires you to have embodied trust at a level that most individuals do not have. Okay. So the next thing is getting really clear on how you want your future life to feel. I think like I made this mistake in the beginning where I knew that I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. And I just got so caught up in what I would be doing for my business when I wasn't working a 9 to 5, rather than like, I was so focused on making money in my business and what it would give me and all of these things, versus really understanding what how money, like what I thought money would make, more money would make me feel, how I thought it would make me feel, and like what I was really after. And the reason you need to do this is because a lot of the times we think we know what we want, but really we're chasing things that we think will get us the underlying thing, but really it won't. So it just makes more sense to focus on what are the underlying things that you think X, Y, and Z will give you. So, for example, if you're like, well, I want to leave my 9 to 5 job. Okay, well, what do you think leaving your 9 to 5 job will give you? Maybe it's that you want to build a 7 figure company or something. And so the question would be, well, what do I think a 7 figure company will give me? And it's like, okay, well, I'll have my dream car, and I'll finally be able to like buy my dream home, and I'll be able to retire early, and blah blah blah. Like those are all surface level things. I want you to get so clear on, what does buying your dream home how does it make you feel emotionally? What does it do for you emotionally? What emotions does it invoke in you to know that by the end of this year you'll have your dream home? And you have to tap into that. And sometimes um like people who are really new to this work are very disconnected from their body, whether they want to admit it or not. And that's again one of the things when working with me, we do a lot of somatic work, because when you are super connected with your body, that's how you tap more into the divine. That's how you tap more into your intuition. But again, the systems that have been created around us, everything, all of the systems, all of the structure are designed to disconnect us from our body. So we do a lot of work to reconnect that and restore that, learn the language of your body, which is your intuition. Your body always knows before your mind does. But you want to get clear on what emotions that's invoking for you, because it doesn't mean jack shit if you get the house you want and the car you want and can retire early if you can't even experience what that gives you to the fullest. And that's why, again, what I said is like, I don't care if you're a female business owner and you've built a 6 figure, 7 figure, 8 figure business. Like, do you even, are you even able to, is your nervous system even able to enjoy that to the extent? Because what I see for a lot of these business owners is they built that, but they, their nervous system is so wired, because that was how it was the entire time they built that, that all of a sudden now they're divorced at age, at this early age. And I'm like, well, I'm married right now and I'm not going to build a business at the expense or at the cost of my relationship. That's not why I'm building it. But we get so caught up in, I got to build, I got to build, I got to get there as fast as I can. And then we get there and it's like, oh, but I burned down my relationship and I burned down my marriage and my family fell apart or my health fell apart. It's like, why don't we do this the right way? Why don't we build in the feminine way and masculine way, to where we are using our divine gifts that God gave us, of how we were designed to build. We're not designed to build things like a man. And obviously I'm speaking to women, but a lot of the times, because that wasn't modeled for us, we've never had that modeled for us. So a lot of successful women now these days have built things based off of how men built them, and then another area of their life is suffering because they did that. And this is where things are changing. This is what I want to help change for women, is that you don't have to build the way that a man does. You don't have to show up the way that a man does just because our society was set up for that. We are meant to build very, very differently. And when we do, when we honor ourselves and our gifts, how we're meant to build things, we experience things in a much more, like, we can hold more emotionally and in our body. We experience things at a different depth than what we would otherwise. Okay, I need to move on. Okay, so the next thing is rewire what you are getting paid to learn right now to prep you for leaving. So this was something that I heard um probably like mid 2025, where I was just like, I was building my business and I was still like planning to leave my 9 to 5 by the end of the year. And I wasn't seeing a lot of proof of that. So I was kind of struggling, because it felt like everything that I was building in my business was really aligned with what I was meant to be doing. But at the same time, I was like, well, if this is what I meant to be doing, then why am I not seeing more money? And like, why haven't I been able to leave yet? And I worked with a mentor that helped me shift this narrative, which was like, okay, yeah, you're still in your 9 to 5 yet, but that's because you don't. This was just my like personal advice for me, but she was like, you don't embody the level of trust that you need to leave your job. And so, what you can do as you're still at your 9 to 5 job right now is stop showing up to your job thinking you're getting paid to do the work that you're doing for them. Like, yes, you are, but rewire it in a different way, because this will shift your energy. This will shift how you show up. And ask yourself, what are you getting paid right now to learn during this season? And for me, it was, I was getting paid to learn how to embody trust when I didn't know, like, I didn't have a secure income. So I started putting that into practice. So it made me less, because at the time I started growing very like resentful of my job, and like that's not a good energy to have. I, instead of feeling resentful towards my job, I started feeling this new energy towards it, where it was like, oh, like I'm just getting paid right now to be at this job to practice self embodiment for when I'm actually in the real scenario of not having this job. So I started correlating my paychecks from that 9 to 5 as God's just paying me right now to learn this new level of embodiment, so that I can really like embody it and really strengthen this embodiment, so then when I go into shift out of the 9 to 5, I'm already calibrated to this new version of me. So stop resenting your job. I know what it's like to be in a job that you don't want to be in, that you really want to leave, and everyone's telling you you need to have gratitude and you need to, like, that energy is like really negative energy. I know what that's like. So you need to do whatever you need to shift your narrative and perspective on why you're getting paid to be at that job right now. And I'll tell you, not shortly after I received that advice, I left my job. So just by shifting my energy and my attitude about it and why I was getting paid, again, it shifts your reality very, very quickly. So sometimes it's just a little tweak in your energy, in your belief system of how you're showing up that will start to shift things. Okay. Last thing is using your day to day life to train your nervous system. So, this kind of goes with the last point, but this is something that I heavily teach in my 6 month mentorship and even with my one on one clients. Is anytime we're facing a challenge, anytime we're experiencing resistance, I I no longer see those as like, oh shit, like I all of a sudden experiencing this challenge, like how am I going to navigate it? I look at these as opportunities to meta update myself, to recalibrate myself to a higher version of myself. So I no longer see these as like, oh, like how am I going to respond to this? I see them as opportunities to show up in my body as my future identity. So an example of this would be if you are hit with a challenge, like a financial challenge, for example, and you know that one day you want to make a lot of money, you can use those challenges as opportunities to show up as the future version of yourself who has a lot of money. So, example, let's say the challenge is that you owe like a big amount of money on something completely unexpected. I don't know, like maybe, okay, for example, we had to pay for a fence earlier this year, and it was like a pretty hefty upfront cost that we weren't like really expecting. And we could have showed up as the version of ourselves that we are right now, where it's like shit, like we don't really have a lot of money to like be investing in this, but like we need a fence, we have 2 dogs. So instead, what I did is I used it as an opportunity and said, what would the 6 or 7 figure version of me, how would she show up as in this moment? She would not blink an eye. She would not even, it wouldn't even register to her to freak out about this. So that's how I'm going to show up in this moment. When we pay the invoice, I'm going to be like, thank you, God. Like, thank you for giving me the resources to pay for this fence when we needed this fence. Like, I have access to resources to pay for this, and that's how I'm going to show up. And that's exactly how I did show up. And like, it just, these are all opportunities for you, and it doesn't have to be necessarily about finances. It can be literally anything. It can be when someone triggers you. This is how you recalibrate very, very quickly, and this is how you meta update, you shift timelines so fast, is you train your nervous system in your day to day. But in order to do that, you have to have a really strong level of awareness of your body, of your system, of your beliefs. And again, that's what I teach inside my 6 week program. So I will be sure to link below a couple of different ways if you are wanting to take this to the next level and go deeper with your energy work and really change the course of your reality. Because here's what I'll say is, you truly can change your reality very, very quickly when you focus on these things. It doesn't have to take years and years and years. And I'm so freaking grateful that I realized this in my 20s, and now it's the thing that I get to teach other women who are just ready for more in their life, ready for more purpose, and done living in this box that we've all been told we have to live in until the day that we die. So be sure to check out those links if that's something you're interested in. I'll also attach my free identity recalibration that introduces this work as well. Um, Definitely recommend, if this video is helpful for you, definitely recommend doing that ASAP. And then be sure to subscribe to this channel so we can grow and learn more together and do this energy work together. Awesome. Have a great day.